All right. Hello, everybody. This is Crossover Report, more specifically the Gridiron Report. It's the off season, but we got a whole lot of football to talk about. It's been a chaotic couple of weeks. Um, to start out, there's just been so much, so we're just gonna get right into it. Sam Bradford, 2 years, $36 million with the Eagles. What do you guys think?
I think that's way too much money. I mean, that should be pretty obvious. I've heard everybody in St. Louis. I've met maybe five people who liked him, five, during his time in St. Louis. Um, I don't think he's ever going to be a quarterback who's going to lead you to a championship. I don't think he's an $18 million a year quarterback. I think that's grossly overpaying him. Grossly.
Yeah, I completely agree with Paul. That's way too much money. Granted, the quarterback market right now is pretty low and dull, but I mean, who's their backup, Chase Daniel, right now?
Yeah, and
You know, they
apparently,
paid him a good amount of money too, and I think they want them to battle. So if you're gonna have those two guys battling like that, why would you pay Bradford so much more money?
Right.
Makes no
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, and it almost seems stupid. Like like why would you sign someone for that much? Like you're just saying, if you're gonna have a competition, there's literally no reason. You gave someone a franchise deal, even though it's only for 2 years. You give them franchise money
Right.
for 2 years. I
I mean,
mean,
he
personally,
threw 90 touchdowns and 14 picks last year. That's not.
yeah,
Right.
I will say Pincus said it on the last show that in the second half Bradford had like the best third down percentage. He had like the best passer rating. He was on fire that second half of the season. So I still think there's hope. We really haven't had a full season of him,
He played a
100%
full season.
bueno.
Oh, did he play a full season last year?
Yeah, but it was a new system and people were in and out and he had DeMarco Murray running for -7 yards a game.
True, true.
They might have a new. I think they have a new system again now that Chip Kelly's not there.
Yeah, Chip
Yeah.
So,
Lindsley.
he's gonna have to learn it again.
Or no, Doug Peterson. Yeah, he's the new offensive coordinator.
Still.
So, going off of that, continue with the Eagles. DeMarco Murray gets traded to the Titans. Thoughts on that?
I think it was just time. He clearly wasn't going to work in Philadelphia. I don't know if it was a Chip Kelly problem or just an entire team problem. I think he knows he made the wrong decision to leave the Cowboys. I mean, you got to make your payday, but at the same time, DeMarco Murray is not a shotgun running back. He's a give him the ball downfield runner. So going to Tennessee, I think it'll be a fresh start. They're able to kind of maybe they can build some of the offense around him instead of coming into Philadelphia where I don't think they were ever going to build the offense around him, especially when they had Ryan Matthews. They still had Darren Sproles. They had other guys. He's going to be the running back in Tennessee. He's going to be the guy 30, 35 carries a game. I think this was a great move by Tennessee. They got to spend money. They got to get some players. They were absolutely just just horseshit last year. Good move by them. Good move by DeMarco Murray.
I don't know. You said you're talking about how he's not a good shotgun runner. I feel like doesn't Mariota feel more comfortable in the shotgun and run like a read option type thing? That's like his whole game to move around. And I feel like Murray's gonna be in the same thing with he was with the Eagles. Maybe they'll go under center a little more than they did last year with Chip Kelly's type offense, but I think this team's probably built more around Mariota than it will be around DeMarco Murray. So I don't think they want to completely abandon a shotgun type game like that.
No, you're right. You're right. The Mariota's going to be out the shotgun a lot, but I don't. I think when he's going to be out the shotgun, you can pretty much know that they're going to pass it because you saw last year DeMarco Murray out the shotgun is just not. That's not a
He
winning
doesn't have a good
combination.
first burst. He needs a little
No,
time to
he
get
doesn't.
going.
He needs that 4 or 5 yards downhill, to get himself going.
I agree. I agree. I definitely think, you know, the Titans needed that because their running game has just been so terribly awful. I mean, even if he does run under the shotgun, I'm sure it'll be better than anything they've had before with that disaster of Bishop Sankey and all those guys. So I think they addressed the need, and it's only going to help Mariota. He needed somebody, for God's
Right.
sakes. So, all right, we're going to continue on the Eagles. Keep going. It's a big fan base, so we got to cover them. They trade Byron Maxwell and Kiko Alonso to the Dolphins for I believe it's like a second round pick, and then they swap first rounders. So what do you guys think about them trading those two guys and just completely eradicating the Chip Kelly era?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fire sale of all Chip Kelly guys, which is, I guess, makes it more surprising that they kept Bradford, which is a guy that Chip Kelly brought in, that Chip Kelly liked a lot. Um, I think they want to move as far past that as they possibly can. I think that's why they brought in a new coach that is not going to be like Chip Kelly, that is going to go a different direction than Chip Kelly. Kiko Alonso, I don't think he's torn his ACL like 5 times, 3 times, something like that. I'm surprised he's still playing. And then Byron Maxwell's a hurt guy too, so I think they just figured we're not going to get that much out of these guys. Let's rebuild. Let's get them out of here.
Yeah, I think it was a good deal. You said they got a second round pick out of that, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so they start rebuilding
Yeah.
their defense. Both those guys are what were they, a little past their primes, you would say. Paul said they get hurt a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, nothing wrong with that. They're not. I don't think they're in a contending position right now. So there's no real need for those guys at this point. So I mean, for them, for the Eagles to finally accept the fact that they're not going to contend, which I feel like they can contend every year. Like that one year when they went out and got Asamoah, Vince Young was like a
Oh
backup
yeah,
quarterback, and they thought they had a dream team
yeah.
because you can only play one quarterback at a time, so that does nothing. But I think it's a good step in the right direction for them, and I like it.
Yeah, I think it's good for them to just get rid of everything. But I'm a big fan of Kiko Alonso. He's kind of like Derrick Rose to me, where when he's healthy, he's a dynamic player. He's probably, if he's healthy, he's a top 5 middle linebacker in the league. Um, I'm just gonna when he's healthy, which is you haven't seen a lot. I mean, he's made some ridiculous plays, diving one-hand interceptions in the end zone, just lighting people up. But he's never healthy. That's the problem. So
Right.
I think for the Eagles, yeah, just throwing away those guys. Byron Maxwell was the biggest disappointment of free agency last year outside of DeMarco Murray. So that just shows you two of the biggest busts were in Philadelphia, and they're
Right.
just eradicating everything. So it's a good, clean house. We'll see where they go with Bradford. Um, but speaking of that, they're going to Miami. Miami gets two decent players. They get Adam Gase as their head coach, offensive coordinator. He did a lot of work with Jay Cutler last season. He turned him into a very productive quarterback, and now he's going with Ryan Tannehill. Don't give me that look. He was productive. Um, he,
Keep
we
on,
we can do an hour on Cutler, mother. Um, so and but okay, so what do you think about Miami? Basically, also noting that they have lost Lamar Miller to free agency.
I think you can start.
Miami. Well, I actually watched a lot of Miami games this last year. Kind of weird. I had Jarvis Landry on my team, so I caught a lot of their games, and I don't know. I feel like defensively they should have been a lot better than they actually were. I thought Brent Grimes had a down year from the year before. They didn't really have a lot of guys step up on the defensive line outside of Sue, because Sue was getting double teamed a lot, so they had a lot of one-on-ones. I think they had Vernon, right, and they lost him this year.
Yeah.
And who'd you say they replaced him with Kiko Alonso, or did they get Mario Williams?
They also got Mario Williams.
They got Mario Williams, yeah. So I don't I don't know. It's like offensively, I think that's gonna be good for Tannehill getting Gase because he was making a lot of tough throws last year, trying to force things. I mean, he's got talent around him. Jarvis Landry was good. They got Rashard Matthews, big receiver. He's pretty solid. They lost Lamar Miller, so now it's either gonna be Jay Ajayi or I think C.J. Anderson's visiting there right now, so he's probably gonna sign with the Dolphins if the Broncos don't match the offer sheet. I think, but they're still in the top, probably one of the toughest divisions in football. So I think
Right.
they're gonna have a tough time. The Patriots are still gonna be the best team in the AFC East. I think the Bills were solid this year. Who else is in there?
Jets.
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 Yeah.
Jets got a good defense. If they re-sign Fitzpatrick, they just got Forte. I mean, they could really compete with the Patriots now.
Yeah.
I think so. They're gonna be tough to beat. So I think the Dolphins are kind of going in the right direction with all this, but I still think there might be a couple pieces away from necessarily contending in that division even.
Yeah. The Dolphins. I just like Ryan Tannehill. He had some highlights last year. He had a couple 300-yard games. A couple. I think two. I'm looking at the stats. 2 games with 3 or 4 touchdowns. But I just feel like he's going to be our next Philip Rivers, where every year we're going to say this is the year that he does something, and he puts up good stats at the end of the day. You can look at his season and say he threw for 4,200 yards, 24 touchdowns, QB rating near 89. I mean, that's all great, but I don't think that they're going to contend for a championship anytime soon. I don't think they can come out the AFC East. I mean, having to play, like Nick said, the Jets, the Patriots, the Bills, I just don't think they're good enough in the AFC. I don't like Tannehill very much. I don't. I think he could be a good quarterback in the league. I don't think he can be a championship quarterback.
I definitely agree with that. Tannehill, yeah, he's just one of those, mid-tier guys.
Right.
If he had a defense like the Broncos, he could be, he's fine enough. But for where he's at, yeah, I don't think he's going to lead you to a championship anytime soon. So let me pose these two quick questions to you guys. Who is the biggest threat to the Patriots? Is it Miami or is it the Jets? Or even the Bills in that division? And is the way I think it's definitely the Jets. I don't like Miami. And is Miami that team where they're going to get so much hype for all these moves and then just win the offseason and then just have a shit regular season and just completely crash like the Eagles did last year?
What was the Dolphins' record last year? Didn't they start off hot and then they lost? Like, what did they finish? Would they finish over 500?
They were up and
Um,
down, I think. They were
Yeah.
they were
yeah, let
just
me see.
I think it's going to end up being the Bills that are going to really rub the Patriots the wrong way. Um, I don't know. I like LaShawn McCoy there. I like Rex Ryan. He brings in his brother Rob Ryan, right, to do the defense.
Oh,
They
I
always
hate that.
I know, but they always get under Belichick's skin. I do like the Jets going out and getting a guy like Forte. I really thought Forte was going to go to the Patriots. He's the perfect
He would have been great.
Patriots running back, can catch the ball out the backfield. You can split him out wide. He would be the Patriots' top receiver next year. If they got Forte, that would have been it. But Forte going to the Jets makes it a little more even. I don't think Fitzpatrick has the year that he has last year. He had a kind of not a breakout year, but he had a big year. I think it's going to be the Bills at the end of the day. That defense is something special.
I'm gonna go with the Jets actually. Just Forte signing was huge. I thought they had a lot of good chemistry on offense last year. Fitzpatrick and Marshall were really good together, and their defense was really stout all year. They were one of the more consistent defenses in the NFL, which was hard to say last year because a lot of teams were very up and down. And then with the Bills, well, LaShawn McCoy might not even play next year, right? Because of the arrest and everything.
Yeah, they assaulted the two police officers.
Granted, I do
To
like
be
Carlos
honest,
Williams a lot.
I forgot that LaShawn McCoy almost killed that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So questionable on the LaShawn McCoy, but Carlos Williams, like Nick was
Carlos
saying,
Williams
he's
really
a
good.
dog. He's a
Yeah,
dog, so I don't
in a
think there'll be
way,
much drop off.
it's like him, David. He's like a David Johnson, Matt Forte guy. Can catch out the backfield. Really powerful runner. He was so powerful last year. Phenomenal.
Hmm.
So I don't know if the Bills are going to miss that much of a beat, but they can't really rely on him for a huge workload. They need Sammy Watkins to step up. Tyrod Taylor was actually a lot better than a lot of people thought he was going to be last year. But I don't know if he can keep that up for another year. That's a lot to put on him. They just lost Mario Williams, who's a big defensive end for them. So, and I don't like Rob Ryan. I don't know how he got a defensive job here after what he did with the Saints last year. I thought that was awful. It makes no sense to me. I guess that's just the family connection.
Yeah.
But I think the Jets are probably one of the better all-around teams in the NFL, and I think they could definitely compete with the Patriots.
I'll say this: Nick made a great argument. I'm switching mine to the Jets, to
There
almost
we
beat the
go.
Patriots in the AFC East. They're not going to beat the Patriots in the AFC
No,
East. Let's just get
No.
that for
no.
Yeah,
certain.
no. All right, so all three of us here say Jets are the biggest threat to the Patriots. All right, so now let's move on. We've already addressed one quarterback situation. Now we're going to go heavy into the quarterbacks. Kind of old news compared to how much has been happening recently, but Kirk Cousins gets franchised by the Washington Redskins. What do you guys think? Is he good enough to be franchised and really protected? Did you see enough from him last year?
I
I
think
think
he had glimpses. My bad, Nick. No, Nick, go ahead.
you're good. You already gone.
Okay, he had glimpses. I mean, he had a couple. He had a touchdown in every game. I'm looking at right now, which is pretty impressive. Quarterback rating, near 102, 4,200 yards, 70% completion percentage. That's really good. 70% completion percentage is phenomenal. But I don't know that Washington is going to be a team that we're really going to be talking about after September or October. I don't think they're going to be very good next year. So he can live there. He can stay there for a little bit. I think he's good, but the highest he's going to go, his ceiling was last season, which was a mid-tier guy like Ryan Tannehill. Washington is years away from contending. for a wild card spot, rather a division win, rather a conference championship, blah blah blah. So I think he's good enough. I understand if you're Washington, you got to keep him. He was probably your best player last year. I don't. He's not a championship quarterback.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Paul. I think he's worth the franchise in the situation he's in. That's one of the weakest divisions in the NFL with the NFC East. It was a toss-up last year. It'll probably be a toss-up for the next couple of years. And
I don't know if it's weak.
it's weak.
It's
It
deep.
was horrible last year.
I mean, the teams aren't. No, I know the teams aren't great, but like
What's a weaker division?
competitive. I don't know.
Maybe the AFC South. That's about the only one I could think.
It's a really weak division. In like I was talking about earlier, I don't think the quarterbacks out there right now in free agency are that great. What Brock Osweiler was like the main prize this year, and I don't even think he's that great. So Kirk Cousins getting franchise, I think, was well worth it for them. I mean, he did lead them to the playoffs last year, and you can't argue with that. He's got a good repertoire with Jordan Reed. So I mean, it's one of those things where they didn't necessarily make an upgrade, but they didn't go downgrade either. Because let's say you don't bring him back, who are you going to bring in?
That's true. They definitely didn't want to go back to RG3, and they needed somebody. I don't think they wanted to draft again. But there's one thing I feel like that's really just going to be a big tell sign is that Kirk Cousins is a guy who takes advantage of bad defenses. Like, I'm looking here right now, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns against the Eagles, 365 for 4 against the Cowboys,
All NFC East
302
teams.
for 3 touchdowns against the Giants. Then you go to the Panthers, he goes 199 yards, a touchdown, a pick. You go to the Patriots, 200 yards, a pick. You go to the Jets, 190 yards, a pick, or a touchdown, 2 picks. You go to the Rams, 200 yards, a touchdown. He doesn't have enough to do to be competitive against good teams. At least he hasn't shown us that yet. He's just shown that he can beat up on lower competition, which I guess for the NFC East is good, but I'm worried that he won't be able to take that next step.
The NFC East is going to be a lot better this year than it was last year. Cowboys are going to have Romo and Des Bryant back. The Giants
They're going to have
spend their
Romo
money.
for about 4 weeks.
It doesn't
I do
matter.
think the Giants are going to be
The
pretty good. I do think the Giants are going to be a lot
I
better.
think the Giants spent $200 million in the span of an hour the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, they're spending
It was all towards the
stupid
defense, right?
money on guys. Yeah, Janoris Jenkins, Olivier Vernon, Damon Harrison, Jason Pierre-Paul. Yeah, I mean,
I think they need a running. They
put
still
lot
need a
of
running
money.
back though. Who's they got? They Rashad Jennings still their running back.
Yeah, and Andre Williams.
Yeah, they're gonna have a pretty decent draft position this year. I'm sure they could probably look there.
But still,
Yeah.
I
That's
think it'll
what-
be a lot better than last year.
Yeah, and they may be better overall, but their defenses still aren't going to be great. Nobody in the division's defense is going to scare you
You're right.
any close. So I think Kirk Cousins will be good in division at least. So yeah, okay. So there's Kirk Cousins. Nick mentioned it. Brock Osweiler was the big prize in free agency at the quarterback position at least. Denver doesn't actually end up signing him. He signs with Houston. This is actually one of my favorite moves of the offseason, him going to the Houston Texans. So what do you guys think? Because personally, I love the move.
Yeah, Millsy, we all know you get a chub over all the Arizona State players getting these big contracts. Brock Osweiler has, 5 career starts? And he played well, I'll give you that.
4-1. 4-1.
Okay,
With the best defense in the last 15 years, probably.
Exactly. I mean,
And you're the one who's sucking Peyton Manning off because he won a Super Bowl and he should come back next year. How'd that go?
sucking Peyton Manning off. Who?
You.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, he won. He won a Super Bowl. You can't take that away from him. You can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. But at the end of the day, I mean, having teams figure this out that you need a bigger body of work before you go out and you spend $75 million on a guy. Look at Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn played 2 good games with the Packers, and then the Seahawks go and spent tens of millions of dollars on him, and I don't think he ever even got in the game in Seattle.
No, Russell.
Because they drafted Russell Wilson, right? But I don't like when teams do this so quickly. I understand you're the Texans. They've needed a quarterback, I think, since they became a franchise, since they changed their name to the Texans. They've always needed a quarterback. Brock Osweiler's good, but I think for the price they had to pay for him, I don't know. And
Well,
he's gonna
here,
have a good defense in Houston, right? With
yeah.
J.J. Watt, hopefully with J.J. Watt and Jadeveon
Clowney.
Clowney can ever decides he wants to play professional football, but like I just don't know. I don't know that he's worth the money yet.
Okay, so here, let me interrupt you real quick. So just thinking about, oh my God, all this money, but it's 4 years, $72 million. It's $18 million a year. That's what Sam Bradford's getting. So you just got to think about the
I don't
market.
want Sam Bradford to get that money either.
I know,
Sam
but I'm just
Bradford's
saying
booty.
it's the reality. And would you rather have Sam Bradford or Brock Osweiler? That's an easy question.
I obviously
That's
Brock
tough.
Osweiler, but I mean I don't know. I don't know what
And
that's
then
proving to me.
Kirk Cousins getting franchise money. I mean, are you got to pay for
I
the
understand.
position?
You're right. You're right. I understand that's the market of it, and that's the current market value of Brock Osweiler. But couldn't you at least say that that's because that there's just not, like Nick has said, I think 5 times this video. There's just not a strong market for quarterbacks this year. So you need, and even in the draft, I don't know. I mean, they talk about Jared Goff, Paxton Lynch, blah blah blah, but I don't think any of those guys are going to come in day one and throw for 4,000 yards in the season. So I get that there's not a strong market, but I just think any other year, if there's more quarterbacks in the draft, there's more quarterbacks in free agency, Brock Osweiler would not be $18 million a year.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
Yeah.
But just okay. So now, well, Nick, do you want to say anything
Yeah,
about Brock?
I think the Texans had to do it. I do agree with Paul, like it was way too much, but I think they had to. If they didn't pay him that much, he wasn't going to leave Denver. And they needed a quarterback. Like you said, they were a playoff team last year and they had no quarterback basically. They got there without a quarterback. So now at least they
Right.
got something, even though he might not be that great, but they absolutely had to do it. They had to. There was nothing else out there. They were going to be stuck with Hoyer again, or they would be taking a chance on RG3. So I'd rather take a chance on Brock Osweiler than RG3 probably.
Right.
Granted, the money probably would have been a lot less, but they had to do it. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to.
Okay. So now going off of that, um, Houston also signs. They also release Arian Foster, so the Arian Foster era is over in Houston. But to replace him, they get Lamar Miller, who, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated running backs in the league, just because he never got a workload in Miami. Um, so with Brock Osweiler coming, you get Lamar Miller. You have that defense. You have Hopkins. You have my boy Jalen Strong from ASU is a strong number 3. Um, what do you think about Houston versus Indy for that division? Because I think we're going to count out Tennessee and Jacksonville for right now. Who do you think's taking the crown?
I'm not
I,
willing to count out Jacksonville right away. I actually really liked Jacksonville last year, and I thought they were taking a lot of steps in the right direction. And I still think if Osweiler doesn't have a good year, when he could very well not have a good year, that Jacksonville could take it. If Luck struggles again, then this division could be wide open. So I'm not going to say guarantee anything right there to the Texans or the Colts, because the Colts defense isn't really that strong yet. So I mean, really, you got to give the Texans. I'd give Texans the advantage just because I feel like they have the strongest defense out of any of the teams in that division. But if I actually did a 1-2, I would probably put it Texans then Jacksonville instead of Indianapolis.
huh. Yeah, I think it's the Texans to lose this year. They should be the favorites, but it just depends. If you get the Andrew Luck that we've been waiting for these last couple of years, the 5,000 yards in a season Andrew Luck that he's supposed to be, I don't see why the Colts couldn't win it. I mean, on paper, the Colts should be running away with this division every year. I mean, Andrew Luck is supposed to be Jesus Christ, but he just hasn't been that. He wasn't that last year. He was hurt, whatever. But uh, I think the Texans, that defense, like you've said with J.J. Watt, like J.J. Watt or hey J.J. Watt, you can't deny that he's an absolute monster on the field. Outside of him, like I said, Jadeveon Clowney, who just takes games off, takes seasons off, whatever he wants to do. He's a freak athlete. If he decides he wants to play, he wants to commit, he could be huge this year. He's not going to be getting all the double teams because they're going to be sending him over to J.J. Watt. He could get 12 sacks this year if he really commits to it. I like the Texans in that division.
And they got Big Vince too in the middle. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna go
You're
ahead.
right, though.
I'm gonna go ahead and declare it right now, unless there's some other major moves. Houston is officially my dark horse for the Super Bowl. Not even
Oh,
close.
stop
Not
this.
even. Not even
Stop this.
close. it's called a dark horse for a reason. I'm not saying they're anywhere near my favorite. I would never pick them, but they're a dark horse. They're my dark horse.
Well, anybody can be a dark horse fan.
Well, no, you're not going to go ahead and call the Redskins a dark horse.
Why
Or
not?
Redskins are
Cleveland.
my dark horse this year. Cleveland is my other dark horse. How do you know?
Okay. Well, you know what? You're never invited back to the football show. Okay.
That hurt right here, man. Right
Yep.
hurt.
All right. So our last topic before we just kind of go off. All right. So Denver, they lose Brock Osweiler. They need a quarterback. Right now, apparently, I was listening to ESPN. Their number one draft choice is the Northwestern quarterback. Whoever that is. I didn't even bother looking into it because it just seems stupid. There's rumors out there that they're going to sign Kaepernick or RG3, and they're leaning more towards Kaepernick. So my question to you guys is, first of all, which one of those do you think they're going to sign? Or are they just going to go draft a quarterback? And are they trying to get Cam Newton of their own, since they already have the defense, they want to reproduce what kind of Cam Newton does?
I want to find out who this Northwestern quarterback is. I don't know that they're going to try. You're ever going to be able to find out, or you're ever be able to find another Cam Newton. I don't think Kaepernick is going to be Cam Newton for them. I don't know that Kaepernick is going to be able to rebound mentally from that season last year. I mean, yeah, bench for Blaine Gabbert. Like that's tough to get over mentally. He was missing throws by 20, 30 yards. He was all over the place last year. I don't know that Denver's the place for him. I don't know that Denver's gonna make him feel any better. I think San Francisco is the place for him. San Francisco's where he needs to stay. I mean, he was in the Super Bowl with them, right? So I don't know. Once I find out who this quarterback is, maybe we can talk about him. But I don't think it's going to be Kaepernick as their guy.
I think they'll, if they have to, they'll settle on Kaepernick. I don't think he's a good fit there, but I don't think they want to go towards the draft because they're still in like a win now mode with that defense. I don't know if you want to bring in a rookie to try and help you win through the playoffs. I don't think he could do it. Now here's an interesting thought. Ryan Fitzpatrick hasn't re-signed with the Jets yet. If I was the Broncos, I would give him a ton of money to come play for them because I think if Peyton Manning last year was good enough to give him that much to get them to the Super Bowl, Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be plenty good.
I mean, I guess, but if you're given a ton of money, why don't you go with Osweiler?
Because I think
True.
Fitzpatrick
They
showed
just-
more
maybe
than
they-
Osweiler did, I thought.
I mean, technically, but if you can just throw jump balls to Brandon Marshall 20 times a game, you're going to have a good season.
He's got Demaryius Thomas in Denver. He could do that too.
Demaryius had an awful season last year. He was dropping everything, and he's
Right.
not a go-up-and-get-it guy. I was supremely disappointed by Demaryius last year, but yeah, I mean he does have two comparable weapons, go from Marshall and Decker to Sanders and Thomas. So the comparison's good. He'll have a much better defense. Jets were good, but they're not Denver. So I guess
How about
it
Johnny?
works.
About who?
How about Johnny in Denver?
No. Yeah, well, no, that was going to be my next topic. Is
Yeah,
that
that's not a good
Von Miller, who went to Texas A&M, has said on record, "Don't be surprised if you see Johnny in the blue and orange next year."
Man, I wouldn't be surprised either. I'm not surprised by anything Johnny Manziel does.
Because would it shock you with John Elway?
I don't know that bringing him to a state with legalized weed is a great plan, if we're being honest.
So there was a discussion on another website saying which Johnny is the best Johnny. Obviously, sober Johnny's the best Johnny, but would weed Johnny be better than alcoholic Johnny, or do you think like cocaine Johnny is the better Johnny?
I'm gonna say, what do you mean the better? Like the better
Like,
for
produces
life or
better.
The better for
What a crosstalk question.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good one.
But
Probably
Johnny
cocaine
Manziel is
Johnny.
so ridiculous. We're going to talk about him in the football section like this.
I would say cocaine Johnny. You just got him hopped up, man, ready to roll all over the place.
Yeah, I agree with that. Amped him
Yeah.
up.
All right. Yeah. So Johnny Manziel, the cocaine guy, is the guy we all want. We're never going to get sponsored. Jesus Christ. So I mean, that's all I have for right now, unless you guys have anything you guys want to talk about.
I got nothing. Hey, good episode. Good
Yeah.
I think we're rolling at like 40 minutes, half an hour here. I like it.
Yeah.
It's good.
There's a lot to come, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more coming in the next weeks. And then we have the draft coming up. It's in Chicago. We'll probably do a live broadcast from there. I'm sure one of us will jump over there.
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll do it for us here at Crossover Report. This is the Gridiron Report. I don't know all the call-outs for the hashtags and the tweets and all those things you young kids do. So, yeah.
Follow us at the Crossover Report on Twitter. You can follow Millsaps and the Gridiron Report at crossover_CR
That wasn't it.
or CR_NFL, something like that.
That's not it either.
NFL_CR.
NFL_CR.
We are great at promoting our brand. All right, let's just end this. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. This has been football.